Well, look what I found. And it wasn't even with gaming stuff. It was actually an old kind of high school and younger dude stash away box stuff. And this would be Circle of Ice. Flying Buffalo, 1980. And I remember buying this, and I remember being into Tunnels and Trolls as sort of a sister interest to the fantasy trip. And I was always dying to play, and back then never had any chance to actually play Tunnels and Trolls, which of course I have done extensively in the intervening years. But anyway, it was really kind of a pleasure because I haven't seen this thing actually for so long that it is, well, we have to play. I haven't read anything past the first page. Solitaire adventure. And so what do I have? Let's see. First of all, I'll explain. We have the realm of light battling the realm of dark across the whole world. Little interesting here. Blonde warriors in white and silver. Oh, tall blonde warriors in white and silver. And then over in the realm of dark, we have dark-skinned and powerful warriors in armor of ebon and blackened steel. Which I'm just going to go right ahead and say is just a whole lot of cool on both sides, and we will proceed with that. Oh yes, and to the west, bordering both, is the, so I presume they're kind of north versus south, I guess. But over to the west is the Circle of Ice, known to neither, or rather owned by neither. Both of the realms fear the Circle of Ice for its power and for the potential threat that lies dormant therein. Let's see. The Lords of Darkness have summoned you. Before you stands a tall, dark man. His eyes burn with a red light. Let's see. We have summoned you, he says in a voice that sounds like many voices in one. This is all before all those video and console games and stuff like that. Just want to get that clear. Let's see. We desire your aid. Because of your reputation as one who seeks adventure, we desire your aid. Travel into the Circle of Ice and map a route for us. Whatever treasure or peril you find within is yours to deal with. We want only your map. When you have it, come to the High Citadel of Sinity. There we will reward you and return you to your world. Ah, you see, to your world. Because, you see, you're supposed to take an adventurer of yours that you've been playing and play, more or less. It's kind of the way with a lot of these. Well, so first through fourth level characters with no more than 70 combat adds. Fourth, I remember these solitaire adventures from Tunnels and Trolls. Don't lowball. So let's see. Magic is allowed. You have been supplied with provisions suitable for Arctic conditions, which is fine. Let's see. An icy blue doorway hanging before you. Step forward to 1A. Beware as well this thing called the Magic Matrix, which is quite stern regarding when you cast certain spells. You will be directed to the Matrix, and you have to see whether your spell works. Glancing up and down, there's a whole lot of not work in there. So inside the Circle of Ice, things are magically dicey. Well, let's see. Carrying on. Oh, that's it. Well, let's see. I've got my character on the actually by the rules character sheet. This would be Ardor, the Dwarf Warrior. You can look at the attached file to the Adept Play post to see Ardor in his glory. And fourth level, insane combat adds by my standards of play. But then again, I'm used to people starting with first level characters. And, yeah, tough little booger. A whole lot of not suitable for human society, low charisma score. And not exactly bright, but otherwise reasonably doughty. And we will carry on. Tunnels and Trolls and Solitaire Adventures are always a little odd. I mean, they have such a developed culture of authorship and play of these solitaire adventures, and yet the game as a whole, systemically, is eminently suited to group play. Particularly that it sings, in my opinion, when you have lots of people involved in the collective roll against opponents, and some of your members are actually opting out of the collective roll in order to do sneaky or interesting or game-changing kind of things simultaneously. But you can't do that with one character, and not only that, but, wizards have really crap armor, and anyway, it's not a good idea to be taken on a full blast of a defeated combat roll just upon your own sensitive self. Warriors benefit by getting twice the protection of armor, so therefore kind of a good idea to go with that. And I found in my rolls, well, you can read the file and find all the choices I made to end up with Ardor. So I've got my sheet, I've got my pencil, got my notes, got my dice, got my rulebook, also of the same vintage, and I have, of course, this is cute, isn't it? I like it. All right, we have now, Pocket Adventure 3, designed by Paul Creelman. So, Paul, thank you. Quite a pleasure to be doing this, I think, at this time. You find yourself in a tunnel with walls of drift ice over a darker base of carved ice blocks. A cruelly biting Arctic gale whips around your body. The intense cold is made almost unbearable by the stinging ice particles. I'm enjoying this. You want to read it, get your own copy. It's just super cold, and I'm going to have to make first level Constitution saving rolls every single time I come to a new paragraph. We'll deal with that in a minute. Okay, so the Arctic Tempest carries ice spicules to the north. If you also go north, go to 2A. If you turn into the wind and go south, go to 3A. If you attempt to dig into the side of the tunnel, go to 4A with an axe or an edged weapon. If you try to dig into the floor of the tunnel, go to 5A. Well, you see, this is actually sort of interesting because I need to go west, and my quarters go north and south, and those are to the realms, one would imagine, or associated with them, and that's not really what I want. So the otherwise absurd notion that I would dig into the wall instead of walking along a perfectly good corridor isn't all that silly. And I have an edged weapon, actually an axe, in fact, a poleaxe. And I'm super strong. So, at the risk of being led into some silly and suicidal thing simply because it's an option, I'm going to go with the compass here and say I'm going, well, we'll see if I'm allowed to go into the west wall. I mean, if it makes me go into the east wall or something, I may have to call it, but let's see. That's the plan. So it says 4A. Now, just to show you this, okay, a page is a number, and then the letters are in a given page. So to go to find your thing, you don't have to like read up and down the little, you don't have to cheat and do spoilers and accidents and stuff by seeing paragraphs you're not supposed to, because you just go to the right page, the 4s, and then you look for your A. It says, the drift ice comes loose, but the darker ice beneath, warped by compression and hardened with intense cold, is impenetrable. Roll 2 dice. If you get snake eyes, you gotta break my poleaxe, which would super suck. A 9. I do not. Okay, return to 1A. Well, it was a thought. All right, well then, I don't really like this into the wind business. I'm going north. North, 2A. With the bone-chilling wind behind you. So let's see, I'm going to keep track here. Always a good idea. 1A, 4A, 1A, 2A. And I'm also in a quarter, which I'm going to draw. With a little mark there for my entry point. 1A. Okay, I quickly progress north to an open area. Visibility is poor. Snow and ice drifts. Ooh. Okay, I mean, an open area, and there's a wide sunken well that goes down 20 feet at least, darkens into an impenetrable blackness at the bottom. Although the drift ice makes the footing treacherous, there are footholds in the well which seem to be cut deep enough for you to descend. If you do this, go to 7A. If you examine the room you're in, go to 1D.